Okay, so I wanted to talk about laser cutter design for a second, and just give you a quick intro to Corel Draw, which is the program that we use for the laser cutter. You can use other programs as well, but this is what we're most familiar with, so I recommend this. It is a Windows program. Here it is, Corel Draw. That's what the icon looks like. It's a Windows program, but we have it loaded on several laptops, so it's definitely available. And let's see, I'll start with maybe a simple design. And there are some rules here. Basically, anything that is black or grayscale gets engraved by the laser cutter. This is how it knows what to engrave versus cut. And you're going to do the same operation, at the same time or on the same file. So it needs to know whether we're going to engrave something or laser cut it. So for example, over here I have some lines that are red, some things that are black. But let me start back here. I've got a picture of a colleague, and I want to make a Jason Bruns magnet. So this is him in action, and I'm going to make a magnet. So we have this sort of cool plasticky. It's basically what you see name badges made out of. It's plastic, silver, metallic, that can be laser cut, laser engraved. And then we'll throw a couple magnets on the back so you can put on your fridge. And he doesn't know we're doing this, so don't tell him. So this is going to be engraved by the laser cutter because it's black. And if we want to tell it to cut out around that as well, then we need to make sure it's a red border. So, and not only that, but it should be red and hairline thickness. This is all basically defaulted in on the laptops that this program has been loaded on. So when I trace a shape, it knows typically that I want it to be cut out. So it's going to make it red and hairline. So all good. Let me zoom in a little bit here. I should probably try to center these things together. So a couple quick things working around this program here. Up in the upper left, I see some coordinates, some dimensions. Right here, these are the dimensions of my shape. That's a pretty big magnet. I'm going to scale this down. I want it to be, actually, let me work off of his image first. That'll be easiest. So I want his image on the magnet to be, let me think here. We'll say about 3 inches wide. And I'm going to lock the ratio for a second. You'll see why. 3 inches wide. And that's going to scale it down. If I hadn't done that, if I hadn't locked the ratio, let's see what would have happened. See, it smushes him. It only drags. I don't want to do that, so I'm going to undo that. Lock the ratio so it scales everything appropriately. 3 inches wide and roughly 2 inches tall. That's good. I like that. Then the other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to move this to a location on my page. My page, this big border here, is the laser bed. That's the exact dimensions of the laser bed. 29 inches wide and 17 inches deep or tall. I want to place this sort of in the upper left. That's the origin. And I'm going to do it, let's say half an inch, 0.5 inches in from the left-hand side. That's in the X direction, and negative 0.5 down. Okay, so that just shifted it so that, let me zoom in here. The corner of my design right here is going to be 1/2 inch in and 1/2 inch down from the corner of the page. Okay, because again the page is at this upper corner here is 0, 0. That's the XY location. This I'm going to make 3 inches by 2 inches, just about the same as his image. So 3 by 2. I'm going to drag that up around him, and I can center these on each other. That's actually pretty darn good as it is. Wow. Okay. That didn't work though. Let's see. What is that? Oh, because the ratio is locked. Okay, so let's see, 3 by 2. Make it a little bit bigger. I actually liked how it was, 3.2 by 2. But I still want to make sure that I've got this exactly centered. So let me drag this off. This image I've highlighted. I'm going to click on the center button here. That's going to tell me the exact center location of that. Oh, let's make it a little bit easier. So it's centered at 2 inches, and I'm going to make that negative 1.5. Okay, and it moved just slightly. I'm going to center this at, what was it, 3 inches? Negative 1.5, was it? I'm already forgetting here. 2 inches, negative 1.5. 2 inches, negative 1. Now everything's centered. So basically what I did was I highlighted each one. I made sure I had this center button selected, which tells me the location of the center of that object. And I just told them to have the same center, 2, negative 1.5. So there it is. There's our fridge magnet. We'll cut that out, and we'll see what it looks like. The other thing that I have is a flower press. So this is already designed. I already made it. It's a little bit more complicated of a design. Basically, we're going to be cutting. This is out of wood. I'm probably going to do 1/4 inch plywood. So I've got 2 rectangles that are being cut out, because remember, red means cut out, and then 4 little holes that are placed in there, and that's going to allow a bolt to be fed through with a wing nut on the other side. So when I put these 2 bores together and tighten them, they'll sandwich together a flower. Basically, we'll put a flower on the inside and we'll squeeze it flat. And then we also, on an iPad, actually my wife did this, not me, made this design, sort of flowery design with a quote here that'll be just engraved on the top. So this is a cool STEAM project, really. We can put any sort of artistic object on something on the laser cutter. So again, black means it's going to be engraved. Red means it's going to be cut out. Just really quickly, again, I centered everything the same way as before. I figured out where the center location was and lined them up. So this design lined up exactly with the outer border. And then I figured out where to place these holes as well, by basically going to my my outer box here, my outer red box, noting where the XY coordinates of that are, and then I centered the hole accordingly. So this corner was at 1, negative 1. I put the center of this at 1.5, negative 1.5, and then I did each of these as well. So it involves a little bit of math. Hopefully you're good with your coordinates and whatnot, but it's not too difficult. So we'll cut this out too. Again, this will be out of plywood, and we'll see what happens.